This is the U.S. Embassy in Brazil, in the capital city of Brazil. This U.S. Embassy is, I learned this weekend, about a 15-minute drive from Jair Bolsonaro's house. Who's Jair Bolsonaro? You remember, he's the very Trumpy former authoritarian leader of Brazil. And since August of this year, Jair Bolsonaro has been home every day. Every single day he has been at that house in Brasilia because he's been under house arrest, wearing an ankle bracelet and the whole 9 yards. But this weekend, Friday night, around 7 p.m., for some reason, Jair Bolsonaro's son told people to come to the house right away for a previously unannounced protest at the Bolsonaro home, at the house where his dad is inside on house arrest wearing an ankle monitor. Jair Bolsonaro's son put out this video saying, "I invite you to fight with us. Like, come to our house tonight." What do you mean, fight with us? Fight with us at our house? Fight for what? Fight against whom? Well, later that same night, shortly after midnight, Friday night, the police got an alert that Jair Bolsonaro's ankle bracelet had been tampered with. It had been breached somehow. Now, this is the same night that Bolsonaro's son had tried to get a crowd to show up and surround the house. Bolsonaro pretty plainly appears to be trying to avoid serving the 27-year prison sentence he was recently given. He was sentenced to 27 years in prison for arranging a January 6th-style riot at the Capitol to try to stay in power after he lost his campaign for re-election. He's been trying to get away from Brazil so he doesn't have to serve that prison sentence. At least it seems that way. He previously tried to arrange to flee to Argentina to try to get asylum in Argentina from the Trumpy Argentinian president. He then went to the embassy of Hungary in Brazil and spent 2 nights in the embassy, apparently trying to escape from Brazil to Hungary, trying to get asylum there from that very Trumpy prime minister, Viktor Orban, in Hungary. Earlier this year, one of Bolsonaro's sons reportedly lobbied Trump himself that the United States should help his dad with this big problem he's got with this prosecution and this 27-year prison sentence he is due to start serving. And who knows what Donald Trump and the Trump administration said to that plea for help. But as I mentioned, Jair Bolsonaro's house is only about a 15-minute drive from the U.S. Embassy in Brazil. And on Friday night, Bolsonaro admits now that he did this to his ankle monitor. He apparently took what he says was a soldering iron to his ankle bracelet, while at the same time his son had summoned a crowd to surround his house. The Brazilian police showed up within hours and arrested Bolsonaro again. He is no longer on house arrest. He's now in jail. And they released this video that you're seeing here showing the damage that he caused to his ankle monitor, and Bolsonaro reportedly admitting that he was the one who tried to disable it. The Supreme Court justice who ordered Bolsonaro's arrest said Bolsonaro had to be arrested that night because he's so clearly a flight risk. Obviously, he's tried to flee to multiple different countries. He's gone to the embassies and approached the governments of multiple different countries to try to get him out of Brazil so he doesn't have to go to prison. And that Supreme Court justice went out of his way to point out just how close Bolsonaro lives to the U.S. Embassy. And this kind of sounds crazy, right? I mean, was this really going to happen? He was going to cut off his ankle bracelet, and in the chaos of this fight, fight, fight demonstration that his son had called for at the last minute at his house, he was going to cut off the ankle bracelet and flee his home and race to the U.S. Embassy and take refuge in the U.S. Embassy, and then somehow have, like, the U.S. government spirit him out of the country, right? Fly him to the U.S. so he could escape having to go to prison, and Trump would keep him safe in the United States instead. I mean, the U.S. government's going to help him do that? It's crazy, right? Crazy. Definitely way too cinematic and conspiratorial and crazy to believe. Until, oops, Trump kind of blurted out that maybe that's what was going on.
Do you have any comment about Bolsonaro's arrest? A former Brazilian president.
So I spoke last night to the gentleman you just referred to, and we're going to be meeting, I believe, in the very near future.
Sir, are you willing about the president being arrested today? What? Any comment about the former Brazilian president being arrested today?
No, I don't know anything about
Sir,
it.
are you willing? Mr. President, are you willing?
I didn't hear. Is that what happened?
Yes, there's a citation.
That's too bad.
Oh, that's too bad. He was arrested. That's Trump, President Trump on Saturday, pretty clearly seeming to have no idea that Bolsonaro has been arrested overnight. He says, yeah, I spoke to him last night, and we're going to be meeting, I believe, in the very near future. Were you planning on going to Brazil, Mr. President? Because this dude's on house arrest with an ankle monitor. He can't leave home. How are you going to be meeting with him in the very near future? I mean, Bolsonaro, they arrested him like 6 a.m. Saturday morning. He was rearrested for the most far-fetched thing in the world, right? Trying to remove his ankle monitor and apparently, they believe, try to flee the country. And Bolsonaro has come up with a story now that the only reason he took a soldering iron to his ankle monitor is because he said he was hallucinating. He said he was having a nervous breakdown because of a change in his medications recently, and that caused him to start hallucinating on Friday night, and that's what happened. He was basically tripping. And so that's what happened, and he can't be held accountable for his actions. But now here's the President of the United States on Saturday confirming that actually on Friday night, Bolsonaro might have been tripping, but he was talking to President Trump at the time. And they were making plans to be together, in Trump's words, in the very near future. He was under house arrest and about to start a 27-year prison sentence. How are you going to be together in the very near future? I mean, when Trump said that, he must have meant that Bolsonaro was coming to America, right? He definitely could not have done that without breaking off his ankle monitor and fleeing the country and going on the lam. And apparently the President of the United States was like, in on the plan?
So I spoke last night to the gentleman you just referred to, and we're going to be meeting, I believe, in the very near future.
Is that what you thought was going to happen? I mean, in any other presidency, this is like the end, right? This is a show-stopping scandal. A U.S. president who appears to be in on a plan to jailbreak a fugitive former dictator and bring him to America, right? I mean, who knows? Maybe this is all just a big misunderstanding. Maybe it was a different Jair Bolsonaro he was speaking to. I don't know. But with any other president, everything would screech to a halt until this made sense, right? Here, it's just one story today, one more bad news story. As this president, as our president, continues wading through what really is just the worst and weakest period of his own presidency since his own January 6th failed attempted violent coup.